Dr. Karan on corneal ulcers, on chemical injuries, and as well. So I'll come to now management of ocular trauma. So I'll be talking on corneal and scleral tears and how should we approaching this. So the ocular trauma is is one of the common corneal emergencies which we come across, and our aim of corneal scleral tear suturing is to have a watertight closure so as to achieve the structural integrity of the wound. So these are the what are the primary aims of corneal suturing. So there should be minimal suture related complications so as to secure closure, no tissue override, and no posterior wound creep, so as to achieve the best possible wound strength with minimal tissue loss. So what are the suture materials we use for these repairs? So for corneal tissue suturing, we primarily use 10-0 nylon, or at times 9-0 or 8 or 11-0 nylon, and for sclera, we primarily use 6-0 vicryl or 7-0 vicryl or silk. So what are the primary principles of corneal suturing? So there should be minimal tissue handling so as to avoid maceration and cheese wiring. The entry should be 0.75 to 1 millimeter away from the wound edge, perpendicular to the wound margin, so as to and the depth of the the entry of the suture has to be at 90% depth of the tissue, so as to achieve the epithelium to epithelium apposition, and the spacing has to be equal on both the sides of the wound unless contraindicated by the local tissue factors. So what do we need to look? So at the once we start the procedure, we have to look at the anatomical landmarks to look where is the limbus. Are there any stellate edges of the wound? Are there any sharp angles of laceration? Debris, if any, needs to be removed, and iris or vitreous incarceration, if anything, needs to be removed, and sutures are applied at right angles to the wound edge to avoid any slippage. So let me come to the very important concept of compression factors. So this is most important thing that the sutures result in wound apposition by compressing the tissue in its loop. So if this is the laceration and this is the loop of the suture, the interrupted sutures leave a plane of compression along the loop, and the zone of the compression extends away from the suture. So the compression zones are triangular in shape, and the wound closure is achieved when there is an overlap of the compression zones. So this is the most important concept which we need to understand while we are doing a corneal suturing. And the compression zones need to overlap so as to achieve a watertight closure and avoid any wound leak. So the compression factors, what are the area of the compression depends on the length of the loop. And longer sutures in the visual axis lead to greater tissue distortion and greater astigmatism, and larger sutures and hence not are preferred to be avoided in the visual axis. So what are the suturing techniques for corneal tear repairs? So primarily, these are what the technique is the interrupted corneal tear suturing. That is the most preferred technique. At times, we need to use running sutures or purse string sutures or box sutures, depending on the local tissue factors of the tear. So this is a simple corneal tear, which is sutured primarily taking a perpendicular suture and just putting these perpendicular sutures to the laceration, a simple closure is achieved and the suture knots are buried. So next we can come across a triangular flap in which we need to apply the first suture at the apex of the tear, and rest of the sutures need to be applied perpendicular to the triangular flaps. So here is a video of this. So now here it's a triangular tear, and the first suture is applied at the apex, and then rest of the sutures are applied perpendicular to the edges of the tear. Then we may come across limbus to limbus tear. in which we put the first suture at the limbus, and rest of the sutures are slowly put perpendicular. So there is another technique of Rousseau technique in which repair is started. This is primarily in cases of limbus to limbus sutures, in which repair is started with longer sutures in the periphery, and the length decreases as we go to the visual axis. The corneal center is sutured with small and widely placed suture with minimal compression zone overlap, and this reduces the astigmatism. So there's another some cases we need to put purse string sutures whenever there is a kind of a Y-shaped laceration, and we need to put a purse string sutures, and sometimes we may come across stellate wounds. So in that case, we might need to put some bridging sutures. They might need to use a purse string sutures, and there might be need for a purse string suture and a combination with multiple interrupted sutures. So then another thing we come across corneoscleral or primary scleral tears. In these cases, again, as I said, the first suture needs to be applied at the limbus so as to achieve the good anatomical apposition, and then the corneal tears part may be done, or scleral tear may be started. But then most important is to first put the first suture on the limbus, and then the sclera may be sutured using the Vicarial sutures. So this sums up my presentation. So the suturing of the corneal and the scleral tear at appropriate time with appropriate technique may help us not only to save eye but also to save vision. Thank you for having me over here.